Hello and welcome to Maiden, Matriarch with me, Louise Perry. My guest this week is Aaron Sibarium. He is a writer, a reporter at the Washington Free Beacon, and he coined the term sexual disenchantment, which I leaned on very heavily in my book, The Case Against Sexual Revolution. We talked about sexual disenchantment, Aaron's conceptualization of it, and about the problems that come with rejecting sexual morality of the past and trying to institute an entirely new system that's offers complete freedom to everyone. Having said that, though, Aaron is not, entirely embracing of the trad position, as we discussed, and is very willing to critique the right. In the extended version of the podcast, we spoke a lot about the relationship between the right and women and whether or not the right is becoming more misogynistic and whether or not the right is going to win. That extended version of the episode can be found on my Substack, louiseperry.substack.com, where you can also find all of the other episodes and the MMM chat community and also bonus episodes. Enjoy. So, Aaron, I think that I owe you a lot of thanks for having come up with the term sexual disenchantment in a piece. I just checked, it was 2020 in the American Compass, a piece about cuties, which was this, I don't know what adjective to use. There was this bad Netflix show about adolescent sexuality, which a lot of people have described as Nancy. For my American listeners, that means, paedophile adjacent. And I thought you wrote a really, really good essay on it in which you used the word sexual disenchantment, which I then used in my book. And I've ever since been telling people that I didn't come up with it. It's a really, really good, it's a great idea. So it's so borrowed from Max Weber, the idea that the natural world was enchanted before the Enlightenment and no longer is, and that sexuality basically has gone through the same process during the 1960s.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to evoke. I think it's Max Weber, and then also kind of Charles Taylor has a similar thing. When you engage in debates about hookup culture or pornography or sex workers, as the new term has it, or really any of those things, I think often the kind of more, I hesitate to say progressive, but the more maybe sex positive progressive side of the debate tends to ultimately retreat to something like a kind of crude materialism where they say, look, we're just bodies, sex just kind of feels good. Or maybe they'll say it has some emotional component, but ultimately the emotional component is just reducible to brain signals.
And is optional, I think.
Right. So why should this be seen as special? Why should this action be seen as anything other than just, they wouldn't say this, but they implicitly are framing sex almost like it's a drug, where it's just like, well, this is just like, an extra, it's kind of like heroin. It just feels really good. But unlike heroin, it doesn't like kill you or well, they might say it doesn't result in addiction. That's something that could be debated. But like, so, what's the problem? It just makes you feel good. It's great. And in that worldview, I think it's very hard to make sense of both kind of long-standing patterns of kind of sexual regulation, like marriage, right? And why is it that people choose to get married? Why is it that people find meaning in deliberate kind of in the deliberate subjection of oneself to sexual constraint? Mm-hmm. Why do people choose to do that? And then also, and this is one of my more controversial, I think, arguments, but I think it's a good one, is just, if sex is just this kind of physical process, then it's not clear to me that that's no different really from any other. And it's not so clear why sexual assault or rape should be such a significant crime. It seems to me that to say that rape is this extra bad form of assault presupposes that sex is special in some way. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, the question where I'll freely admit the answer to which I'll freely admit I'm somewhat agnostic about is, what exactly is it that makes sex special? But I don't think that without some sense of kind of enchantment or specialness, you can really fully make sense of kind of the constellation of human intuitions that a lot of us have. around sexuality.
Thank you so much for watching that episode of Maiden, Mother, Matriarch, and for all of your support. It means an enormous amount for the growth of the show. If you want to hear bonus content, an extra 20, 30 minutes of conversation with the guest, maybe a little bit more personal, a little bit less filtered, then you can go to my Substack at louiseperry.substack.com, where you can sign up for extended episodes and also bonus episodes. And you can also access our chat community. You can also support the show by subscribing on YouTube or subscribing wherever you get your podcasts, and rating and reviewing on Apple Podcasts is also really great for encouraging other people to give the show a try. Please also spread the word, tell people that you know who you think might like it to give it a shot. The word of mouth effect is really valuable, so we'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening, watching, and supporting what we're doing.